So the next we will discuss the generalization relationship in a class diagram. A generalization helps to connect a subclass to its superclass. A subclass is inherited from its superclass. Generalization relationship cannot be used to model the interface implementation. Class diagram allows inheriting from multiple superclasses. Basically, we need to model the generalization relationship in a superclass and a subclass relationship. A subclass is derived from its superclass. A superclass is basically the generalized class. Generalization relationship cannot be used to model the interface implementations. Using a class diagram, it allows to inherit from multiple superclasses. In this example, the class student is generalized from the personal class. So, from the given example, we can derive the class student as a subclass from the journal class or the superclass, which is called the person class. A student is a person. Our student belongs to the class person. So person is a superclass or a generalized class, and student is a subclass. So the relationship between the student and the person class is generalization relationship. So next we have the association relationship. The kind of relationship represents the static relationship between the two classes A and B. So in order to model the static relationship between two classes A and B can be modeled using an association relationship. Or we can say, in order to model the simple relation between two classes can be used and by using an association relationship. For example, an employee works for an organization. So we have the two classes, employee and organization, and the relationship between these two entities or classes will be the association relationship, because an employee is associated with that particular organization in which he works. So here are some rules for defining the relationship, which is called association. Association is mostly verb or a verb phrase or noun phrase. Just like in the given example, the relationship between the student and college is shown, which is studies. The student studies in a college. So this logical relationship can be used to model the relationship between the two classes. So the type of relationship that we will use will be a straight line represented by the association relationship. So next we have the multiplicity. A multiplicity is a factor associated with an attribute. It specifies that how many instances of an attribute are created when a class is initialized. If a multiplicity is not specified, by default 1 is considered as a default multiplicity value. So basically it is a factor which is related with an attribute. It is used to describe or specify that how many instances of attributes are created in number when a class is initialized. Multiplicity is not specified. By default, 1 is considered as a default multiplicity. Let's say that there are 100 students in one college. The college can have the multiple students. So, using this particular diagram, we can model the multiplicity between the given classes. A college will have multiple students, and the multiple students are represented by this asterisk symbol. A student belongs to one college at a time, or a student studies in one college at a time. So let us consider another multiplicity example over here. The following figures shows the examples of different relationships between classes. The first figure shows an association between the two classes, and the association relationship between the two classes are basically the employee and the department. An employee is a worker of one department, and a department contains many employees. This is how we can model the multiplicity between the two classes. So the first figure shows an association relationship between the two classes, department and employee, wherein a department may have a number of employees working in it. Worker is a role name, the one alongside the department, and asterisk alongside the employee. The one with the department and asterisk with the employee depicts that the cardinality ratio is 1 to many. So we will call it 1 to many. The second figure portrays the aggregation relationship. A university is the whole of many departments. So in order to model the relationship like the whole of, or basically the aggregation relationship. So next we will see what are the aggregation relationships. Aggregation is a special type of association that models a whole-part relationship between aggregate and its parts. The symbol which is used to model the aggregation relationship can be used by this hollow diamond symbol. So aggregation is basically used to model the whole and the part relationship. A student is a part and college acts as a whole. So student is basically a part of this college, and the relationship between these two classes will be the aggregation relationship. So here in the given example of aggregation, we can see that car is a whole part, and wheel and engine inspection are the parts of this particular whole car. A wheel and engine can lie without this whole car. We can manufacture the engine and the wheel individually, and they can live without the car. So the type of relationship in aggregation is a whole part relationship where a part can work without the whole part of this particular relation.